Hey there, it's Matty Miller with ERA Real Estate. Hope you guys are doing well today. And today, in a changing market, we are talking about how to sell your home if it is in need of repairs. So maybe you have a rental property, maybe you inherited a property, something that you're looking to sell that maybe isn't perfectly move-in ready like the homes you see on HGTV. That's what we're going to talk about really quickly, and we're going to give you 3 main points on how to sell those and make it easier on yourself. The very first thing you need to consider when you're selling a property that is in need of repairs, when I'm talking in need of repairs, I'm talking, let's say this home needs a roof, it needs a new AC, water heater, the flooring is outdated, the kitchen cabinets are beat up. I'm talking about a lot of work, not just one small thing that needs to be handled, that if it was handled, it would be the top of the market listing. I'm talking things that need a lot of work. The one thing we always want to consider is where we're going to price that property at, and we need to be realistic with that price. So pricing is so important in any market, but more importantly, in a transitional market like we're in now, pricing your home where it needs to be based on the comparables. If the comparables are up here and they're move-in ready, we need to really look at where you're going to sell it if it needs repairs, especially if you don't want to do any of those repairs or pay for any of the work, then we need to come down on that price. Pretty simple. So pricing the property when it hits the market is so important. That's going to really allow the point that I'm going to make right now. That's going to really allow 2 main categories to see your property in the light that they want to. Number 1, that would be the real estate investor. The real estate investor, they're typically willing to pay cash. They still do exist. There are different kinds of them. Some of that stuff has slowed down a little bit, but they still do exist out there, especially for properties that do need work. And the second one would be the bargain hunter. We've always heard the person that, gosh, years ago it was the guy that wanted to buy the foreclosure. I only want to buy foreclosures. I only want to do this. Well, that hasn't really happened yet. I don't know if that actually will happen. I don't know if we'll see a foreclosure market like we did way back in 2011, 2012, things like that, because I don't think we're going to have near that big of a correction or, dreadful word, crash. But that's going to basically, if you price it right, that's going to attract 2 kinds of buyers. The bargain hunter might be a guy who's, let's say he's a handyman, he's in construction, he's very comfortable with taking on projects with a property that needs to be fixed up, and that's okay for him, but he's willing to pay less, take on the responsibility of doing all the work to get it moving ready for him and his family. That would be a good example, pricing it and attracting that particular type of buyer. The other one, obviously, we hit on was real estate investors who are willing to pay cash and turn it into a profit because they typically have some way to do that, whether it be cheap labor on their end or just a lot of cash that they need to buy and hold, things like that. So the other thing you can do, and transparency is a big one. For anybody of you guys that know me, I kind of tell you how it is. I don't really beat around the bush too much, but transparency is always something that I want to bring to the forefront, especially in the real estate industry. If you're going to sell a property that has work, one of the best things to do is go ahead and get a pre-inspection. If we have a rental property in our portfolio that I'm going to list and sell, I will recommend, especially if we already know kind of what's wrong with it, I'll kind of just disclose that. But if we're not really sure what's wrong with it and it's a new property for me, I would certainly suggest or even be willing to pay for up front. Go ahead and get a pre-inspection, which is just a home inspection. We're going to send out a third-party home inspector to the property. He's going to go through it and make sure that everything is working, not working. We're going to document all that stuff, and we're willing to share that information. We're willing to share that information, and some of the things we may even go fix. But mostly, we're willing to share that information to let the buyer know that, hey, we've done our due diligence. We know all the stuff that's wrong with it. Here's where we think price-wise where we should be at. And if we do the pre-inspection, that can also help us set that actual price in the market. So that's about it. But if you guys have any questions as far as selling property that needs work, by all means, it's kind of my specialty because I do a lot of rental properties, and people often ask me to sell those, so we kind of follow this same framework as we move along. But if you have any more questions on that, feel free to hit me up. My name is Matty Miller with ERA Real Estate. My number is 904-574-1958. Thanks and have a great day, guys. Take care.